Welcome to the tutorial on how to use Adobe Illustrator to draft a block. We're all familiar with these instructions on how to draft a block from scratch, and this one's taken from the Winifred Alfred's book for menswear, and I've taken the classic shirt block here. I've also added formula to the instructions which make it a little bit easier for you to draft. So rather than where it says 0 to 1 is half waist plus 4 divided by 3, it can get very time consuming and very difficult to follow. So simply all you have to do on this chart, which is available to download in the CAD-CAM downloads on the blog, you simply put in your measurements here where it says basic. And if you're not sure how to actually take your measurements, there's a guide on the right hand side. So once you put the measurements in, so let's change the chest to 115 centimeters, for example, it alters the actual dimensions and instructions below. So let's just undo that, and you can see it changed these back. So 0 to 1 now has a measurement in centimeters. If you want to know how I got to those measurements, you can refer to the original book, but you can click and it's got the formula. That is E8 plus 4, so that is the side depth plus 4 centimeters. So depending on how much ease you want, and if you want to change that, you can just alter the 4. And so you can work your way through the instructions, and traditionally I always use passing on paper, the dot and square paper, long rulers, pencils, pattern masters, and I draft it the traditional way. But what I'm going to actually show you how to do is actually use Adobe Illustrator to draft your pattern 100% scale. And you may wonder why you want to do this. Reason being, it's easy to save your file digitally rather than have rolled up paper. It's easy to amend, it's clean, you can easily manipulate the pattern on Illustrator without rubbing out, put masking tape on. But the best thing for me, what I find really useful, is the fact it's 100% scale. So if you want an embroidered collar, for example, you know the exact collar shape and size. So you can then bring in a graphical image onto Illustrator and you can play around with the image to fit exactly that collar. And again, if you're not sure how to do that, that's the clipping mask section in one of the CAD-CAM tutorials in the download section of the blog. Once you've got that graphical pattern, you can see it 100% scale, but then you can actually copy that graphic image itself and then send it to a laser cutter or digital embroidery machine, or digital printer for that matter. So it's really getting a real good representation of what the image is like, and it's really will save a lot of time and a lot of guesswork. And what you're going to be aiming at on this is something like this. And that is the basic block body already done. And you can see my, I'm just going to delete that top one. I've got 2 layers here, both are locked. Let's just unlock them. One is the actual pattern itself, and one is the numbers. So I've just kept them separate, so you can print that one out, or if you want the numbers on there, you can have that. And you can see the numbers relate to this one. I haven't made this shirt yet, I don't know what the fit's like. My aim is to actually create a really good block that I'm happy with and I can use for the basis of my other shirts. So this is my starting point from the book. I'm then going to adapt it until I'm happy, and then I'm going to take my other designs from that. But you can see already straight away how flexible it is to just flick through this. Now what we're going to do, we're actually going to create the sleeve, and I'm going to show you how I've actually developed this. So I've created another artboard in Illustrator, and this is going to be the sleeve one. I'm not going to work on these 2 layers, so I'm going to lock these. And I'm actually going to start a new layer, create a new layer, double click it, and this is going to be called sleeve numbers. Okay, and there it is. I'm actually assuming that you've got some knowledge of Illustrator, and you might want to practice on Illustrator beforehand, particularly the pen tool and the general layout of how things work in terms of fills and strokes. So what you need to do, let's just have a going to copy this, paste it. What you need to do, using the pen tool and the letter and the T for type, create a little cross, and that's the number there. So, and then group them together so it's 1. Okay. And again, them handouts will show you how to do something similar. It's not too hard. So I'm going to start with 0. I'm going to keep referring back to this one. Scroll down the sleeve. Put the side measurement. You've got to put a measurement in there so you get measurements further down. So start for 0, and this is hopefully a shape that you're going to end up with. This has been shortened to fit on the page, and obviously yours will be a lot longer than this. So 0 to 1, so it's 0 to 1, and it's 13.5 centimetres. It's telling me to square across. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this one, then I'm going to go to Object, Transform, Move, and you can see there's some measurements here. And if I click on Preview, you can see where it's going to move to, and that's not where we want. We said so we want it to move vertically only, so with the horizontal section put 0, and then this one put 13. Is it 13.5 or 13.5? It was 13.5. Click Preview, and where's it gone? It's gone up. So the minus sign made it go upwards. Let's get rid of the minus sign, and it's gone downwards. If I click OK now, it literally just moves that to the new position. If I click Copy, however, it keeps the original one where it was, and then it copies the one below. If I double click on this, it goes into Isolated Group, this grey bar along the top, and double click on the number 0, press Delete, put 1. Then the Selection tool, click on the grey bar, and you're out of it. So 0 to 1 is 13.5 centimetres. Let's do another one. 0 to 2, 95 centimetres. Okay, so what I'm going to do is click 0, Object, Transform, Move, and keep that as 0 and 95 centimetres, and click Copy. And it's gone outside my artboard, as you can see here. So I'm going to go View, All Artboard in Window. Okay, all in Window. And you can see it's actually longer than my artboard. This is Adobe Illustrator CS5 that I've got. There's an artboard option here, so I'm going to click on this tool. And I'm literally going to grab this artboard down so it fits in, and then click on the selection tool again. You can have numerous artboards in Illustrator, which means I can have another one for the collar, I can have another one for any graphics, and I can have all the shirt on one file, which is really, really efficient and convenient. So I've got this one now. This was 2, so let's just rename this one. Double click it. That goes into the isolated group. You can tell because there's grey bar. Double click that. Number, delete, and 2. Okay. 0, 1, 2. Put a line down the middle if you want. It did say square, right? I've put a ruler there, but it's hidden. So if you go to rulers, it's guide, so you can show the guide. There they are, and that's the one I've just moved in there. It did say square across at 1, so I'm going to grab where the ruler is. That didn't work then, because if you look on the right hand side where the layers are, I'm on the wrong layer. You've got to make sure it's highlighted. Move along, square across at 1. So that's going to be a guide. Right, I can't move it now, I've let go. So if you go to guide and unlock the guide, you can then move it. Okay. Next one. 1 to 3 is 40.8. So this time click 1. Now I'm struggling because it's getting the guide. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to hide the guides. going to click it. Okay, that's interesting. Right, what I've actually accidentally done, I've been working in the wrong layer, look. So if I turn the sleeve numbers layer off, nothing happens. If I turn the numbers layer off, my numbers disappear. Now I've locked the layer, so what I'm going to do is unlock it, select it. I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to edit, cut. I'm going to lock the layer, click sleeve numbers, then edit, paste in place. So now they're on this particular layer. It's my mistake that. So let's just go back to what I need to do. 1 to 3, 40.8. So let's select 1. Object, transform, move. We don't want that. And that's 40.8. And it's copy. There it is. I'm trying to do this quick, so it might not be as accurate as it should be. 3. The artboard in window. Okay, brilliant. Right, 0 to 4 here, 27 centimeters square down to 5. So 0 is the first number we put in place. 4 is a diagonal and it intersects across from 1, and that's 27 centimeters. That's going to be quite hard to do. If we select 0 and move, type object, type move. You've got horizontal, vertical. It's very difficult. We don't know the exact angle. So if we go back to the guides, show the guides, we know it intersects this line here. Let's lock the guides. Yeah, they're locked. So we want a diagonal line that goes from there, hits there, and it's 27 centimeters long. The easiest way to do this is hit the line tool, click on your artboard, and put in a line that is 27 centimeters. Click OK. Doesn't matter what angle it's at. At the bottom here, you've got a fill and a stroke. Make sure the fill is there's no fill, and the red line tells me it's got no fill. The stroke's got no fill, but we want it to have a fill, so I'm going to click the black fill. So if I click off it, there's a black line there. What I'm going to do, I'm literally going to grab the line, and I'm going to move it so the top of the line is in the centre of the cross, which is there. Okay. I'm going to hit the rotate tool, which is here. I selected the line already, hit the rotate tool, and now I'm going to click where I want it to rotate from. So I'm going to click that point there. Now if I'm going to all artboard in window, all in window, artboard in window. Okay, now I'm going to now grab the other end of that line and I'm going to move it, and it moves from that point that I've selected, which was the 0. Now the length of that line is fixed, it won't change. Even if I move up, it doesn't get shorter. If I move longer, it doesn't. If I move out, it doesn't get longer. So I'm going to move it until it dissects 1. There it is, so it's dissected 1, and I know that point there is now 27 centimeters at length. I'm going to then select 0, edit copy, edit paste. I didn't paste it in place this time, and it's paste it right down here. I'm then just going to move it, and you're going to have to zoom in on this. I'm going to move it into place. Now you can actually nudge this into place by using the keyboard arrows. And to see if you press an arrow and it zooms right across the screen, if you press Command and K, you've got keyboard increment, and mine's set to 0.1. So just check it's not really high, and then you zoom off the page. And you can see what I've done there is I've actually put the arrow there where it dissects the line. So I know that's 27 centimeters. I'm going to click to get isolated mode, double click again, delete, and put 4. Okay. Let's have a look. 0 to 6 is the same on the other side. What we can do, we can click on this. actually we can just, this time we can reflect it. Click on the reflect tool, double click the reflect tool, that's it. We're going to reflect it vertically. I'm going to hit copy. There you go. And I'm just going to move it into place. And you can see it actually lines up with that line. When you zoom in, you can see that you're not quite right, so you just nudge it. You can see it finishes on that line. I'm going to edit, well, I'm going to edit paste. Didn't have to copy it because I've not copied anything since, so just remember the last one. Again, I'm going to zoom in. Slightly out there on that line, it's not a big problem. If I wanted to, I can move this out of the way. Select this line. What you're going to have to do though, you're going to have to hit the space bar, it turns the cursor into a hand and you can pan around your image without zooming out. If you wanted to change that line, you select the line, hit rotate, hit the point of rotation. You can just literally move it down until it is where you want it. Should have been the same as the other one, slightly out, not to worry. And then put that one in place. Double click it, 6. After a while you get really quite quick at this. So you got the framework then. This is a complicated bit now. Divide 0 to 4, which is that diagonal line, into 4 sections, 8, 9 and 10. So you've got 8, 9 and 10 in between 0 and 4. If you do 27 divided by 4, you'll get 6.75. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in on this area. Get the line tool, 6.75. Okay, there's the line tool. It's got no stroke, no fill. I'm going to give it a fill of blue. I'm going to make it so you can see it a bit better, of 2. I'm going to move the end of the line. Zoom in. You see I'm now using the keyboard nudges. There, that'll do. Command and minus zooms out. We use the rotate tool. I'm going to select the anchor point, select the other end, and I'm literally then going to map it on to that line. So if I click off there and zoom in, you can see that is where your next point's going to be. Okay. So then if I copy number 4, let's do number 1. Hit copy, edit. I'll do paste in place on this one. And I can just move it. Okay. Double click. That's 8. Now this is the right angle, this blue line, and it's the right length, so you don't have to do that every time. You can literally grab the blue line and move it across. Okay. Copy 8, edit copy, edit. I'm going to paste it in the place so I know where it's going to roughly be. So 9. Grab the blue line. With any luck, we copy 9, edit copy, edit paste in place so I know where it is, just drag it. Just nudge that a bit better, double click, 10. A test, is if that blue line fits between 10 and 0. Not too bad at all. Alright. So let's just delete the blue line. We don't need that. Okay, when you've gone and put all your numbers in, the pen tool is what you use to create the lines. I'm going to create another layer, layer 4, double click on that one, call it sleeve lines or outline, whatever you want to call it. I'll lock the numbers, and the pen tool, again, refer to the handout in the CAD/CAM tutorials. The pen tool consists of the pen, which is the top one. The plus sign means you add anchor points, which means you can manipulate it a lot better. The minus tool gets rid of anchor points, and the convert anchor point turns a curve into an angle, and vice versa. So you draw with just the standard pen tool, and it's a series of clicks. And again, you need to just practice with this. Make sure that the fill is that there is no fill and a stroke. I'm going to change the stroke to black. So, for example, if you wanted a line from 6 straight down, Smart Guide is great. Click, then the selection tool off there. You've got a line. If you want a curve, you can probably click from 6 to 0 to 4. Single clicking, click off there, and then you can get the convert anchor point tool. So I'm going to hover over, there's the anchor point, I'm going to click, move the mouse to the left, we've got a curve. If I now clicked on the direct selection tool, I can then alter the curve in and out like this. Alright, so you can build up your sleeve. By keeping the numbers and lines separate, you can then reduce the actual, you can you can hide the numbers if you just want to print the outline. And what you're looking for is this shape here. So it's just really a case of following it. Exactly the same for the cuff. And then you should have all your pattern pieces at the end of it on one file. I'll do a separate tutorial on how to put the clipping masks, probably when I've done the collar, so you can actually see the graphical images on a 100% pattern piece. But it's the clipping masks, clipping paths method that you've got in those handouts. So give it a go and work your way around, but it isn't too difficult once you get the hang of it. So give it a go.